Hello, good afternoon, traders. It is Sunday, October 24th, 2021, 7:34 p.m. Currently in Sri Lanka. I'm in a new town. I don't know the name of this place, but let me try to pronounce it. Wewerla. I'll get it for you guys at the end of the video, but I just relocated. Been a pretty busy weekend, and I'm actually very excited for this upcoming trading week. I have plenty of good analysis to break down today. It is Sunday. It's right before the market opens, and I'm getting into my groove. I have some really great news. I'm actually getting into my groove with this day trading. And I do strongly believe that I will definitely be picking up scalping real soon as well. And it's going to be a very beautiful season, I believe. So I want to get started. I want to go over USDCHF, Gbpcad, Eurgbp, wow, look at Eurgbp, and Euro USD, and also GBP AUD. I'll try to get all of this in either one or two videos. And yeah, let me just get started with Eurgbp. This is really wild. So here you guys can see it didn't really do much. It didn't really do much. The last 5 minutes of the market, it might have spiked, about a 20 pip candle, but overall, it didn't really do much. So we're not going to be surprised by that. As a matter of fact, this is a signal indicating that the pair may be going on a downwards trend real soon. Now, I don't really know that just yet until I zoom out to the higher time frame and make some markups. So let me clear this chart up so we can see how I get started on the charts. And I know this is not the live market session. This is just a pre-market session. Break it down what I am going to do for the week. I'm going to start the weeks off like on Sunday. I'm going to have a pre-market session video, and then Monday I'll go into the what pairs I'll be trading on Monday, and then Tuesday, and therefore. So this is just going to be the overall what I'm going to do for the next week. And if I do add anything on, I'll let you guys know. But right now, there's a resistance area. So we're going to mark off the clear areas of resistance support. So I say that's about right. Just do this real fast. Just want to get the most nearest areas, and that's all I'm looking for right now is the clear areas of support and resistance. So here we go. We have three areas. Let me get one more down in case it continues on to the upside. And here we go. So here we go. We have some areas of support. We have some areas of resistance. They're all about 15 pips apart on average. And we do see that the market is currently climbing up. So what happened on Friday? We can see that price definitely had reached the peak once, twice, three times, matter of fact, and on the third time it actually did close above. So that is indicating that price could potentially continue rising. But just about how high can we suspect price to rise? I do see price rising about another 40 pips on Euro GBP, and I was long on this pair. If you guys check my stories, you can recap on my longs. I actually am going to start a solid track record real soon so everyone could see a account from scratch and all of my trades. But I did catch this rally to the upside. It did show a current break of that move towards the end of the day on Friday, and that's what we're currently seeing right now is that the price is just hovering around that currently broken resistance. So on Sunday evening, when the market does open on the New York side, I do plan on looking for a potential pullback into this region for a potential buy entry towards the upside. And when that does happen, I do suspect price to continue on up at least another 50 pips. And I do possibly believe that these stop losses may get hit in part of a stop hunt move towards the upside. So that's something that we all have to just monitor and watch as time goes on. And if it does happen to go to the downside, I don't really see that really happening unless I could see price coming down about 20 pips and closing below 0.844, then we can see price more than likely go down another 15 to 20 pips, and we will follow the story at that point if it does decide on flipping sides. But I want to get into the anatomy of this pair because unlike most forex trading gurus online that actually trade the wrong way, I I know what's going on. So when we go into the higher, larger time frame, we could see that price had retested that high once, twice, and it's on its third retest. Now, this third retest, there's something about the characteristic of this on the 4 hour. It's very bullish, and it's held that bullish momentum. It didn't end it with a retest going back 20 pips, closing and going to the downside. It closed at the highs, meaning that there's fresh momentum in a fresh market ready to take price back to the upside and to retest these highs. And like I said, there's retail sellers from the beginning of the month, and that's where we are going to test. We're going basically back up to monthly highs, and we're going to test those sellers' stops and potentially get this high. I don't know if we're going to get this high yet, but that's a target is these highs right here. So like I said, about 52 pips up, we're targeting these highs. Once these highs get hit, I'll actually move this resistance zone because that's far out, just like a lot of these traders' expectations, far out. Here we go. So that's about another 20 pips. So you see, everything is like a 20 pip zone. And if you're in my academy, you know from my life grid system that it's starting to look like the life grid. You buy in the regions A and B, sell in C and D, vice versa. I haven't used that in a long time, but I know it still works because it's just a time-tested strategy and system. But let's get back to the topic of price action. So I do foresee it going up another 52 pips, and if price does close above these highs, then we're in for a nice 90 to 100 pip run to the upside. So that's a no-brainer. But I do suspect it to run up about 52 pips, but I'll possibly end up taking most of my profits around here, 0.849, because that is a hard area of resistance. If you can look at right here, you see price got rejected once, twice, three times from that area, and it did actually hesitate on its down rally. So there's two modes of confluence that are meeting each other in this zone. So if price does crash into this area, don't be surprised that there may be potentially some sort of congestion and some sort of potential struggle in that area. And it's also 41 pips is the daily ATR. So, if you're looking at this right now from a perspective of the ATR, it's about 41 pips, which is about the daily ATR. So if it does just straight up rise from here, that's where we're going to end up. If it does dip back and pull up, we're going to end up even lower. But that's where I'm looking at right now for Eurgbp. See how I'm doing on time, 8 minutes. Okay, I want to make this quite a long video. I don't want to split it up this time, but I'm going to break down as many pairs as I can within the next 25 minutes. So bear with me, guys. So Gbpcad, this is what is up next. So on Gbpcad, we can see it's on a clear downtrend right now, but what's happening right now is current struggle towards upside. So as a retail trader and trading gurus, what they'll tell you is that they'll get on the top-down analysis and they'll mark it up, and then they'll have a million and one reasons why it's going down right now. But me, like I said, just by looking at the minor time frame, I was already able to tell you guys that, okay, this 30-minute chart is not loading up properly. Just a minute. Okay, well, start off with the hourly. So looking at the hourly, I can tell you guys that it is making higher highs and higher lows, surprisingly, but it has not made its next leg for the higher high, which is the impulsive wave. It's made one corrective wave, and it's been subsiding over time. So that's where I'm getting my bullish bias at, because I do believe that price is going to go towards the upside. So now looking at this bullish bias towards the upside, I just want to verify it by looking at the larger time frames. Here we can see that price is at a low point, and it is in a middle. It's in a range. I mean, looking at the weekly, it's in a range. We can see that it's in a very clear range. It dropped like hell on 2016, and then it just consolidated for the remainder of that that down wave. So right now we know that if a down wave consolidates, it's losing steam, and there's a likelihood that it's going to start to push up if it does not make any sharp moves down. And at this point, we are testing an area of support. So looking at the weekly, we could see that this is a weekly area of support, and we could also mark off the area of resistance as a grab area. So I'm going to mark it off right here. I'll be really conservative in this, and I'll move it down to the daily. And this is the way I'm going to mark up my top-down analysis. I'm just looking for brief areas of confluence. There's one right there, one right there. And these are just minor, major. It's very subconscious to me right now. It's very intuitive. I've been doing this for quite a while. We have this right here as well. You can see price just recently tapped into that area. And then I'm going to do one more area right here. This is going to be a lot of fun going to the next week because we're going to see price crash into every single one of these areas and actually make a sudden move. And I actually want to do one more right here, so bear with me. There we go. And this is it. This is going to represent everything in the back. You guys can see it also aligns with this low, and it's just an average, so this isn't the exact area, it's just an average. Let's get into the 4-hour time frame now, so we can see going back to what I was expressing. So we do look like there was a close above that region, and there was a test to that support. There was a failure at that test, and then price bounced back up, went back down, failure again, bounced back up, went back down. What do you guys expect? Another failure. So it's going to go back up to the upside, about 100 plus pips. So getting into the market on the open, I will be looking for longs, though I suspect it to crash down any further. I'm looking for maybe a buy stop on this one. Be a little aggressive on this because price has already shown a successive break to the upside. So anything breaching this rally right here that just happened, it's going to be a danger red flag sign, and it's going to indicate price is more than likely going to keep going down. And so, save yourself 50 plus pips. Don't, trade any longs beyond this zone that I marked up on the daily. But now looking at the 30 minutes, I just want to break down the narrative of this. We ended the week. Wow, that was the 15th. So let me look at the calendar right now. 15th. So this was about 2 weeks ago. So this was the trend for 2 weeks ago, and then last week we ended up pretty bullish. You guys can see on the more micro scale, and there was one sharp pin to the low, and that should be the low right there. And it did hold up as the low of the week. Price did continue up and made a high of the week on the 19th. After that, it formed an inside bar on the larger time frame. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, you guys can see the high of the week formed, and then these are what you call inside bars. There's been a series of inside bars for the past, what looks like, for the past 15 days. There's been inside bars. So it's been kind of within that range for the past 15 days. So do suspect a very nice large break towards a side once this range does break. I want to do one last markup. I want to do a minor zone right here because once it does break the zone, what I do suspect is price to climb very, very high up. So let me see. There we go. And right now, price is actually about 68 pips away from that zone. See, now I have an advanced tactic where I can actually buy now, and I can save myself 68 pips because I already know it's going to go up. Now, if it does go down, I have my risk management in lock. So I'm going to go over that next. We see a series of higher lows, higher highs, and then that was it. So we know that right now price is currently trending within a range of about 130 pips. So that's what we're going to be looking for, some sort of potential move. So let me just draw the fib. Okay, now this is a random fib. You can mess around with Fibonacci and get really nice with it, but this is just the way I'm drawing it for right now. There's different variations of it. I mean, you could even, let me just do this, just a demonstration for it all. You could put the fib at this swing high if you want, or you could even put it at this swing high. It's all gonna be around the same region. A lot of what trading indicators is, it's just they're all gonna line up in the same type of area that price is concentrated within. And right now we can see that on this uptrend. It's supposed to be an uptrend. You see that there's a target area of that minus 0.27. So that's where we're going to be aiming for our potential targets at. So that's a solid amount of pips away for one day. And I'm just explaining the moves by the daily. So I'll follow up with you y'all. But this is for the next 24 to 48 hours worth of pips right here. That's pretty much what I'm calling out right now. So a couple things could happen. Price could either continue to make its push towards the downside, which I do believe that there is more room to go. I do believe these are retail stops right here, here. I mean, these already got shot down. These are retail stops. I believe these are all retail stops. So before it goes to the upside and stops out these guys right here and makes its move to the upside, I do believe it's going to make one more spike to the low. It could hit these retail stops, or it could even go as far as this low. But that's where the point, the 0.618 is. And like I said, this is just giving clues and hints for later on that it's going to go up. But, there's a lot of retail buyers that it's just not going to work out for them. So, unfortunately, their stops are going to get hit more than likely, and that's going to happen before price goes up. Another thing that can happen is, of course, price can continue to crash down, and this is where I will place my stop loss. My stop loss would be somewhere down below, right around 1.690. Now, this is an advanced reason why, and that's about 100 pips away, and that's something that I might save for later future material, but guys, that's still pretty far. That's very far away, and I wouldn't really be looking for a market order with 100 pip stop loss. So at the moment, if you were to ask me if I were to take a market order, or if I were to take a limit order, or if I were to take a stop order, I'll tell you all that I would just sit on my hands on Sunday. I'll wait for the move to set up on Monday. By Monday morning, London session, we should be able to see a clearer picture, especially after the Sunday gaps. Then I'll be able to hop into the market and get a nice entry depending on where the price is going to lead everyone into on Sunday night, and then be able to place my stop loss based on that trend rather than trying to capture last week's trend. Because as you guys can see, one more thing is last week's low isn't far away, so technically, we're looking at 60 pips away from last week's low. But like I said, price is still on an uptrend, but it could trigger last week's low. It could go down, stop those guys out in last week's low, which is why I would not place a stop loss right below that low at this very moment. Because what's going to happen if you do is it might go down, it might tap those lows, but it may not actually how would I put this? It may tap those lows, but it may not close those lows. And if there's not a solid close, I don't really want it. But if I do look at this from a perspective, I think that's probably the earliest place that I would put my stop loss is about 90 to 100 pips away. So within this region right here is where I would place my stop loss if I were to go long right now. So let's just wait. Just wait. Either going to do a market order with light lot size and wait for price to make its way out because I already know it's going to go up, or just wait. And we'll just take it every step of the way. So that's Gbpcad. I went a little bit longer on that pair for you than normal, but let's get into the next pair. So I did GCAD, I did Eurgbp just now, and let me go on to Usdchf, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this breakdown this Sunday. Hopefully my microphone problem is fixed and there's a lot more clarity, and my breakdowns starting to get my flow, like I said. All right, let's get into USDCHF. So this pair has been bouncing around for the past couple of weeks. I actually got stopped out a couple of times. And then I just said, fuck it, I'm going to go short because my longs got stopped out a couple times last week, and that just signaled that the market was going to go down for some time. I do see a potential short about 150 pips away. If we do mark this up on the charts, it's going to get from some highs and some lows. We can see exactly what's going on with price and where it's heading. And I'm just going to do just a few markups right now, just for the most recent areas, just so we can all see. I'm going to actually delete that one. That's a minor area, but it will definitely react around there. Moment here. All right. That's kind of slanted. This is what's going to happen with the trend lines, but it's all good. You guys get the gist of it. This is definitely going to be a little area that it's going to react from. You guys see the resistance was also pushed into. And I'm going to do one more. This is going to be minor, so, this is more the key level right here. If you guys want to learn to mark up key levels like I do, definitely give me a shout, and I'll definitely help out my current academy students identify key levels. If you guys just contact me and we can talk about some sort of consultation regarding that. So that's about 200 pip rise and about 150 pips to the downside. And right now it's on its way to the downside. So definitely going to be worthwhile if you hold the trade. You could see right there. I'm looking at the USDCH. This is on the 4-hour right now. Daily, I'm just looking to see if there's any major daily zones, and I think I marked all of them off already. There is an area that I like to look at right above here. I'm going to mark that off as well. This one right here with the price went up once, twice, 3 times, rejection, never went back, and then that's where this most recent trend actually continued from the previous one. So this is what we're looking at right now, this trend that just went and took off about 157 pips. I do believe that it's creating a new drive to the downside, and that drive to the downside is going to last at least another 60, 70 pips, and this is going to be weak. I believe this is a weak area of support. It was holding up for some time, but with the momentum coming down, I do believe the velocity is just too strong for this to hold up, and it's going to continue to crash down. It might come into some struggle down here, which means that it might slow down after there, but I do believe it's going to hit these stops right here. And yeah, pretty much I'm going to look for a nice sell. I would look for a market order on this because you guys see price definitely broke swing highs, lower low, lower high, lower low, and this is the most recent trend right here that we're going to be looking at. So if you guys really want to get really tight in the market, there's another minor area right here. This is what I mean. And key levels are very important. This is what your mentor does not teach you, by the way. Like, they don't teach you this. Like, I'm going to zoom out of this chart to show you how complicated this is going to look after all my key levels are marked up. But let's keep on going. So what do you guys see now? Swing low, swing high, swing low, swing high. And it's just paving its way down. So this is the minor area right here. This is going to be a retail area. So please do not put your stop losses anywhere above here. So that's about a 35 pip range. You guys heard me right. Do not place your stop loss within anywhere around here. This is just a flood of retail sellers, stops waiting to be hit. Now, what can happen on Sunday, Monday is that price could definitely continue to drive further down with this momentum being built up, because this is definitely a roof right here. Or price can go up one more time before it goes down, and it can knock out all these retail sellers and make its way on up towards about 70 plus pips to the upside. So you don't want that to happen. And if you're a seller, this is not the best look. I'm looking for a potential area to place anything within reason if I were to take this trade. And to be quite honest, the earliest stop loss I would actually have would actually be right here. 51 pips away. So this is a risk-seeking trade. A 51 pip stop loss is where I would actually place my stop. So right around here is where I would place my stop loss. And Now that's 51 pips away. Where would I put my first take profit? So like I said, TP1 would be right there. I'll just take some money off the table. 62 pips. That's 101 right there. But we're going to keep going down. So about 140 pips is where I'm going to take my ultimate profit target. And where will price go from there? I don't know. We have to look at the daily at that point, and we're going to have to just track price as it goes down. I mean, it could go down as much as what I say 212 pips, but I would like to see a 4-hour close below this green bar first and then go down, take it down about another 100 pips, it looks like. That's when I'm going to then look for a daily close below this bar, take it down even further, but we'll follow the narrative along the way. Another thing could happen, like I said, is, if it does not close below there on the 4-hour, then we're going to possibly see a rally back to the upside. And that's it for USDCHF. How many am I doing on time? 25 minutes. Wow, guys, I've been going off on this. Let me go on the Gbp AUD now and break this down along with the Euro USD. I actually think I'm going to break this down into 2 videos, so that's it for right now. I'm definitely looking forward to slaughtering these pairs once the markets do open. I did say I'm going to zoom out so you can see how confusing this looks to the average mind. I mean, you can't really see why and how I place these zones unless you go back to the beginning of this video and watch it again. But that's it for this video, guys. I am looking forward to this upcoming week. We will follow up with everything. I will leave these lines on the chart. I'm actually going to save the template right now after the video, and we'll follow up with this exact template throughout the week. Okay.